Rob and Chris, for drama actor, you guys agree on Michael C. Hall, Jon Hamm, Simon Baker, Hugh Laurie, and Bryan Cranston for nominations. You disagree on that sixth slot for drama actor. Boomer's going for Kiefer Sutherland. Ain't gonna happen, Chris. But Rob, you're going for Bill Paxton. That might not happen either, right? What's your logic here?
Yeah. Well, look, I tell you what, this category is not as strong as the drama actress category, which is unusual. Usually it's the other way round. Now, those 5 actors that you mentioned, they're all pretty locked in. I have Bill Paxton in there only because I just think he's probably due for some recognition, and I just couldn't actually type the words Kiefer Sutherland 24 because
Kiefer wasn't nominated in the series race, remember, last time. He was nominated for the TV movie thing. That showed us there was a little lack of support there. Bill Paxton's never been nominated, although Big Love has been nominated for Best Drama Series. We have some other major contenders here. We have Matthew Fox from Lost. We have Timothy Oliphant from Justified, Peter Krause from Parenthood. What's your thinking?
Dennis Leary.
Dennis Leary, of course. We have Ray Romano from Men of a Certain Age. We have Matt Bomer from White Collar. We have Kyle Chandler from Friday Night Lights and Wendell Pierce from Treme. What do you think, Chris?
Well, as Rob said, once you get past the top 5 here that are all definitely getting nominated, that 6th slot is hard to predict. The only reason I put Kiefer was, you're right, he wasn't nominated in this category last year, but all 8 seasons he's been nominated, 6 of them in drama lead actor, once for movie, and then I think he'll probably, just only because this last slot is so hard to predict, I've got him in there. I don't know. This is the one slot where you could say there's going to be a real wild card pulled here. It might be Timothy from Justified. It might be Peter Krause, who's been in this category before. It might be Ray Romano, who they seem to have loved back in the comedy days. So it could be Bill Paxton. I don't know. It's hard to predict that last one. If I could put anybody in that slot, the best guy out there is Matthew Fox. He's been kind of maybe not the best actor in the bunch, let's say, over the first 5 years. Or maybe it was his character, the way they developed his character. But this 6th season of Lost, he took control, and he had the best season he's ever had on that show. He's submitting the finale from what we hear, and he is awesome in the finale. He gets to save the day for everybody. So he's got a decent shot. He's been acting in TV for over 20 years, so he's definitely got some fans probably within the Academy.
Now, Rob, let's pick on.
I still think, though, he's going to miss out. It's so unfortunate. For my own personal awards, I would be giving it to Matthew Fox, and I'm a Breaking Bad fanboy, so Bryan Cranston wouldn't even win for me. Matthew Fox was so brilliant in Lost for the last season, but he's just never been able to break through, and I can't imagine it happening this time, even in this weak category. If anything's going to surprise, I'm hoping it might be Timothy Oliphant because of his the 2 past shows he's been in have been Emmy favourites. He never made it through. Now he's in a really good new FX show, and maybe he might actually start to surprise some people.
Rob, let's talk about Breaking Bad. Bryan Cranston has won this category, of course, for the past 2 years. Now Boomer's telling us that Michael C. Hall is going to win this. I don't see that happening. I would love to see it happen. It was my favorite show of the year. Dexter was, but I think Hall has a problem and it's his character. I think it's just a little too subdued. It's this repressed, rumbling volcano character that he has, which is great TV, and it makes it a wonderful character. But Emmy voters love the volcano. They love the fireworks. Rob, am I right?
I think you are right, and I think I have a feeling as to why Chris is picking Michael C. Hall. Dare I say, being cynical, it's because of his personal situation. He won the Globe, and I think he won the SAG too. And a lot of people thought it was because of sentiment, and maybe because he hasn't won before and he was quite ill and all those things. He was also really good in the show. But you're right, Tom. Emmy voters love all the sparks. And who gives more sparks than Bryan Cranston? He's won the last 2 years. And you could pick any one of those 12 or 13 episodes from the last season of Breaking Bad, and that would be a winner. He's that good. And if he wins again, then no one will be that surprised.
Right, because we have to explain
this has been a category where...
Go ahead, Chris.
Go ahead. This has been a category where they love some repeat winners. I mean, you had Dennis Franz there for 4 years.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were in a row, but very close together. James Spader won 3, very close together. Gandolfini won 3, very close together. So it wouldn't be a shocker at all if Bryan Cranston won another one here. I find it kind of sad in a way for 3 guys who continually put in good performances, Hall, Hamm, and Laurie, that they may go through their entire series and never win an Emmy. And I just wonder if Michael C. Hall, like you mentioned, he just won 2 huge awards this past season with the Globe and the SAG Award, especially the SAG Award from his own peers. He is submitting the finale. And Tom, I know you're right most weeks, but in the season finale of Dexter, it showed a whole other level of him. He kind of came unhinged. Things weren't working out to a plan like they normally work out for him. I don't even want to give away what happens in the last scene, but he's standing in a pool of blood with his baby. So it's not and not because of something he did, because of something somebody else did. And I mean, there's a great scene in there where you literally see on his face he does not know what to do next near the beginning of that episode. So I think it might be his chance, but any of those 4 guys would not be a shocker.
No, and your point about the finale in the case of Michael C. Hall is a good one, because if anyone's familiar with the show, that episode was the most brilliant hour of TV in the whole year. If you were familiar with the backstory of that show and his character, I absolutely agree. It's bone chilling, that whole setup. You would have to vote for him, but this is a juried award. And the reason that Michael C. Hall can win SAG and win the Golden Globe is that those are popular votes. That's a voter sitting at home just looking at a list of 5 nominees, checking off who wins. And in that case, Hall had a lot of good will for him, considering his fight with cancer and also the greatness of the show, and it was well-deserved. But this juried system does favor ham-fisted voting, where there are 50 to 60 voters sitting in a room at home watching DVDs, and when you see Bryan Cranston's fight against cancer, and you see what his whole story is, desperation in Breaking Bad, it's a full sky of fireworks.
Yeah.
Well, another thought, too, here, moving on to somebody else for a second. We don't know this for sure, but I'm assuming Hugh Laurie is submitting the 2-hour season premiere from this season, and he's basically in every single minute, so he's going to have tons of screen time. It's him going through rehab. He's got some great actors to work off, especially a 2-time Emmy winner like Andre Braugher. There are a lot of weeks of House where it's such an ensemble piece, you don't even have to call it House. But this particular episode, if that's the one he winds up submitting, and then you talk about, going through rehab, we talked about that with, drug use, gets a lot of awards, not the actual use of drugs, but the portrayal of use of drugs. And he's a guy that's been anchoring his show for, what is this, the 5th or 6th season? So if he was ever going to win, this might be Hugh Laurie's chance.
Yeah, but
there's really, somebody here. I haven't met someone who doesn't like Hugh Laurie. Everyone loves Hugh Laurie, right? But isn't he a bit of yesterday's news now? That's not how this works.
So it's a juried award. I'll tell you who's never going to win this award is Jon Hamm. Since this is a juried award and you're sitting there with your DVDs at home, Hamm's character is just too subtle, isn't it? It's not the over-the-top kind of acting they love.
I think so.
Well, he, as we mentioned on another chat, January Jones's episode is probably going to be the same one he submits. It's called The Gypsy and the Hobo. And talking about coming unhinged, it's the episode where she finds out about his past. And he's got a pretty deep, dark past. And there's some good confrontation scenes. He gets pretty angry, and he does some things in that episode that he never gets a chance to do because he is so calm, cool, and relaxed normally. So he's got some material. He just does not have the screen time, I don't think, to actually win this year. But that's okay because I think he's going to win over in the guest acting and comedy. So I think he'll get his Emmy this year for Saturday Night Live. But if Jon Hamm is going to have a shot, this might be his shot as well.
Yeah.
Final thoughts, Rob? Any thoughts?
Well, my only final thought is, are we really all that strong on Simon Baker? We all have him in there, don't we? And He was pretty good last season, the first season, sorry, and there was a whole bunch of reasons for why it was a good argument to include him. But now in year 2, sometimes Emmy voters tend to kind of get bored very quickly. Like, remember with Anthony LaPaglia in Without a Trace, he got that first nomination and then he just disappeared. And I don't know about Simon Baker. I'm thinking he might miss out. So he shouldn't get too excited about this. And if he gets in, then all power to him. But let's all just keep a very close look out for Timothy Olyphant, maybe Peter Krause, maybe, let's hope, Kyle Chandler. Kyle Chandler really deserves a nomination. Unfortunately, Emmy voters don't know what Friday Night Lights is.
You're right.